Hi, everyone. Today we're talking about the real reason you feel out of alignment that most people don't realize. Because this is for the part of you that's tired of performing and feeling like alignment is something you have to do, like in your checklist, instead of actually feeling aligned within yourself. So, if this is speaking to you, stay tuned because we're going to talk about why you feel out of alignment and what to actually do about it. Because this is not surface level healing, this is true embodiment. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the real reason people feel out of alignment and how to return to this natural way of being and this natural frequency that brings clarity, peace, and flow. Because if you've been doing all the things like meditating, journaling, setting the boundaries, doing your inner work, it's something still doesn't feel right in your body. Something is still draining your energy. This will explain why. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the real reason you feel out of alignment is because you're performing alignment instead of truly embodying it from within. So, most people think alignment is doing all the things, but alignment is not an activity, it's an energetic state of being that harmonizes your body, your mind, your body, and your soul. And this reflects in you acting in your truth, you moving from your truth, you creating from that truth. And when all of those things are not in harmony, your nervous system can sense it. You can do everything right and take all the actions that seem aligned, but if there's not that harmony, if there's that disconnection between what you're doing and how you actually feel, your nervous system can sense it and it will still feel wrong. It will still feel scary. It will still not feel right. And it's not going to create and manifest the desire that you're looking for. And why? Because the energy, again, underneath all of the action is more important than the action itself. So, again, alignment isn't what most people think. We've been conditioned to think that everything is a checklist, right? We think, if we desire to reach a way of being or receive something, we have to do in order to get that. And so we do the checklist, right? We do the meditating, we do the journaling, we do the visualizing. We speak all the affirmations. We keep this very structured routine of, okay, first I'm going to do my affirmations. Then I'm going to wake up early in the morning and do my yoga and whatever all that stuff is, right? But then these are not, um, these become tools, these become things that we do, not alignment, right? These are nice things that we do that we can do in a state of alignment, in a state of um, that wholeness of remembering who we are. But if that state of being and that awareness is not there, then this just becomes another checklist. This becomes another masculine to-do list where we are running from our problems, where we're escaping the fear of our past, and we're thinking this is going to solve everything, right? Um, so think of alignment like music, right? It doesn't matter if you're following all of the correct steps. If your instrument is out of tune, it will always sound off. The song will not sound right, right? So your actions are the notes and your energy is the instrument. So you need to start with your energy first, right? Because you can play all those right notes, but if your instrument is not tuned, you won't produce harmony, right? There won't be harmony. And that's what misalignment feels like. That's that feeling of, oh, something still feels a bit off, right? Because again, you're doing all of the right things, but something within you is still out of tune and not harmonizing. So the real issue is loss of resonance within us, right? So we don't feel misaligned because we're doing the wrong, our life is wrong and we're doing all the wrong things. We feel misaligned because we've fallen out of this resonance with ourself, with our truth, with who we really are as a whole, right? So resonance, again, is when your inner truth and your outer decisions vibrate at the same frequency. It feels clean, it feels open, it feels peaceful, it feels light, it feels true because you're moving from that foundational, everlasting, eternal truth from within you. And that is emanating from um, your body, your soul, into all the things that you do. And so, dissonance, on the other hand, is when your truth might say one thing and your actions say another. So, for example, um, your intuition might be telling you rest, but then you force being productive because you have to do that aligned to do list, right? Or your body tenses around a decision, but you say yes anyway because you think, well, that's the aligned choice because that's going to get me. So it's still coming from a place of control, right? And so internally, your nervous system feels unsafe, but you pretend it's fine. You think it's aligned. You think, oh, I'm doing all the right things. So again, there's a disconnect from our truth, disconnect from that harmony. And another good example is when people say all those affirmations like, I'm abundant, I'm whole, God provides for me always. But internally, they don't feel that way truly. And that's why a lot of the times people think manifestation or affirmations and things like that don't work, is because there's a disconnect. Um, and when we can correct that, when we can reach the state of awareness that naturally corrects that, then we will see the fruits of our being, right? Um, so that is what the misalignment is, right? It's the embodiment. Embodiment is the missing piece. And, again, you can take actions in a misaligned state and it will not bring alignment. It is not alignment because alignment is energetic. Alignment is when your mind, body, soul are harmonizing together. It's not a performance. It's not something that you do. It's something you are, right? Something you be. Because for another example, you can meditate, but if you're doing it urgently, if you're not breathing deeply, and your nervous system is still stuck in survival, you can meditate all day long, and it will not. Um, it is not a state of alignment. It is not bringing to where you need to go, because the state of the energy and the state you're doing it in is not aligned. And another example, you can set a boundary, but if you're shaking inside, you're scared of being abandoned, um, you know, you start having all these catastrophic thoughts, like you're not moving from a place of alignment in that way. It's not going to feel like empowerment, even though boundaries do. And so part of the process then is regulating our nervous system and embedding into us and reconnecting with that truth. Otherwise, if we miss that piece, right, in accessing that embodiment deeper within us, it becomes something we're doing to override a fear. It becomes something we do to bypass how we really feel, instead of really sitting with what's coming up and allowing that to come through and express itself, and then alchemizing it into a situation where we can access the greater awareness, to see that for what it truly is, instead of letting that dictate our actions and keep us stuck and afraid. Um, that's true embodiment, that's true alignment, right? Um, Another thing you can do is you can journal, but if you're just, writing down all these negative thoughts and spiraling on paper and not accessing again that higher awareness of truth about the situation, about what this really means, then you're just dumping more fear and you're going to get more fear. You're dumping more lack, you're going to get more lack. And so the embodiment piece is really huge, right? People, we need that. Otherwise, it's just another form of bypassing. It's just another form of escaping truth. And so your body must come into agreement with your intention because just thinking it alone cannot create the alignment. Your nervous system must feel it. That's the embodiment work. It's in your body, right? This is why you feel confused because you're doing all these aligned things, but you're doing them from a state of misaligned energy. And so many people are living from the neck up within the mental plane, right? Most people are living from the mind, not from their body. So you know, when we say that embodiment is the missing piece for alignment, we need to learn how to stop living from the neck up so much and go back, bring our energy back down into our bodies, right? Because our mind is full of stories, is full of thinking, is full of rationalizing, right? But our body is our tuning fork for truth. Because your mind can justify anything, it can rationalize things, can intellectualize things, it can make up stories, right? It might tell you things like, "Oh, it's fine," or "I should just be grateful," and "It's not that bad. I can do this." Whereas your body tells you the truth. It tells you, your chest might feel tight, your breathing might get shallow, your stomach might feel heavy and in knots. Um, your jaw might clench and you might start feeling drained around people. You might feel expanded after certain decisions or contracted. Your body is your tuning fork for truth. And so if we're too much in the mental plane, we don't access our intuition, our guidance, God speaking through us, through our body, through our vessel, right? We get disconnected from the truth that's speaking to us through our body. And so if we're not accessing that truth in our body, we're going to move from even though we want to be aligned and we're thinking we're doing all the aligned things, our actions are going to be misaligned every time. And so part of alignment is reconnecting to your body, reconnecting to your truth, building that self trust in the messages and the intuition in the divine guidance you receive through your body, through your vessel. And if you ignore all of the cues that your body is giving you long enough, then you feel misaligned. And that is the missing piece in the alignment is you have not gotten that your body on board. You haven't built that self-trust with yourself again, figuratively and literally. And so here's the truth. It's you're not out of alignment, you're out of attunement. Attunement, again, is when your body, mind, and soul are all harmonizing in that same truth, that foundational truth of you being an eternal, energetic being who is whole, fully abundant, unconditionally loved, and accepted for who they are. You are the totality of all that is. You are one with the universe, with God, with existence. And so most people are making their decisions from the mental stories that are going on in their mind about who they think they are um, in this life, what titles they've received, whose husband or daughter or family member they are, right? And it's these and even the conditioned beliefs that they've been handed down to them through their experiences, through their family lineage, through cultural um, programming, right? So most people are making their decisions from that place, from this mental space, instead of from this embodied space in their divine vessel that accesses their wisdom and their truth. So that disconnect is the source of your misalignment. So then, how do we return to alignment, right? Alignment is not restored through pressure. So if you're trying to do the checklist thing and do all the things you think are right, like go to sound baths, write in your journal, listen to certain meditations, all those things like a checklist, it's not, you will not return to alignment. It's restored through presence, through awareness, through your state of being. And so, what you need to do then is slow down. Most of us need to start with slowing down because, we're not used to hearing our intuition because we're going so fast and we're consuming so much and we're paying attention to everything outside of us. So, usually the first thing is just to slow down so you can actually hear your own intuition. Feel your state in a yourself in a state of awareness, of presence. Sometimes it's just that simple, slowing down, because your intuition speaks softly, quietly, effortlessly, openly, while your fear is very loud. And there's lots of loudness as noise in this world that's distracting us, that's wanting us to be afraid, wanting us to think of lack. And so we can only hear the truth when we slow down. And you can put your hand on your heart and even ask your body, what do you need right now? What do you need to feel whole? Knowing that you are whole, knowing that you are loved, accepted, fully. What do you need to feel whole right now? Because when you do this, you shift your energy before you take the action, right? Your body has to feel safe. Your nervous system is um, feeling safe before you set the intention. And so your intentions can take root. And so if you're anxious, slow down and breathe first. If you're overwhelmed, ground yourself, right? If you're angry, tune in and see what your body is asking for because it's screaming out to be heard. Maybe a boundary was crossed, right? If you're disconnected, sit still and reconnect. Otherwise, if you don't, do these things first to reach that level of awareness, that state of energy where you're connected again with truth, with source, with eternal truth, with your soul, then you're going to be always acting in survival energy. You're going to always be acting in a reactive way. You're going to always be acting in a lack way, reaching for something outside of you. Um, because survival cannot create alignment. Lack cannot create alignment. Fear cannot create alignment. Only safety can. Wholeness can. Love can. Unconditional love. Pure acceptance can. And so when we return to that wholeness within us and then take action from that place, that is the alignment. Now you are stepping into alignment. Now you are aligned. And the more we practice that, the more effortless it becomes with anything. And of course, on each level, on each area of our life, there's something that, you know, fortifies that. So it might feel like a test or something big and scary where we have to, do that again on that level. But then that just becomes a deepening into your embodiment. That becomes more access and understanding who you truly are in connection with Source as one with all that is. And so it becomes this beautiful process of unfolding and returning and remembering and reclaiming that abundant power, that abundance within us. And so each time you build that self-trust, right? You just feel that deepening into who you are. And that becomes your foundation. Your connection to source is your foundation, right? That makes you unshakable. That makes you move with confidence. Confidence means with trust because you trust yourself so fully, trust God so fully. Because no matter what might shake you up, you know how to return to who you are. You know how to return to your wholeness and move from that aligned space. And that trust grows every time you honor that pull to return to who you are. When something is trying to pull you outside of yourself, when things are trying to tell you to be scared, to be fearful, to feel a lack, to not believe in yourself, you slow down and you tune in and you move from that wholeness each time you do that, it builds self-trust, right? Like resting when you want to push on, saying no, um, and honoring that sacred no, right? Leaving places that drain you and relationships too. Tuning into what your body wants and eating the foods that are going to replenish your heart, your soul, and your spirit and your body. And, calling all that energy back in when it wants to be pulled all these different directions. These small decisions throughout our day is what creates the nervous system rewiring to happen so that we begin to build that self trust again. And so, if things again might um, activate our nervous system, lead us back into survival, lead us back into fear, we know how to recenter ourselves. We know that we trust ourselves because we've done this work before, and our embodiment just gets deeper and deeper into who we are. And like a tree, we become more and more grounded, more and more rooted, and more unshakable, right? So move at the pace of your soul, not the fear, right? So again, if you feel yourself rushing, I know there's a lot going on. We sometimes don't even realize we're in a state of rushing, right? But as soon as you become aware of it, you can remind yourself, fear is telling me to hurry right now, decide now, rush now. Something you might miss out on something now, but my soul is really telling me, pause, feel, wait. You are whole. Nothing is escaping you. And make choices from that whole place. Because again, alignment is that frequency, that embodiment, that feeling, not a forceful thing, right? It's something that you feel. And you can embody the energy that you desire right now in this minute. Because in all these examples I've given, it's all about you being aware in the present moment. Because when you're aware in this present moment, you get to choose and decide and um, tune into the energy with conscious choice and intention instead of on this busy, quick, 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 go, go, go mind where you're out of tune with your frequency, out of tune with yourself, and just running on empty. So you don't wait for your life to align, to feel aligned. You feel aligned within, and then your life aligns to you. So when you become aligned within, when you start moving in this way from this frequency, from this embodiment, from this wholeness, that frequency of you're emitting now, the more clear and clear it gets, creates the manifestations in your physical world, creates the desires that are on your heart, allows you to move in a way that will magnetize, that will create those experiences you desire. Because again, you shift your frequency first, and then your outer world rearranges afterwards. And you see them in the physical. You see, and this is when you begin to experience all the beautiful things that you realize, oh my gosh, I could have never thought this would happen, right? But because again, you're in harmony within yourself, you're going to experience that harmony in your life, in your experiences. And that is the super exciting part, right? Um, so, again, I can relate to this because there has been many a time where I was feeling like I was doing everything perfectly, even before I became a mom, before I became, you know, a Reiki healer and practitioner and a life coach and all these things. I was doing all these things on my checklist that I thought would bring me my desires, would bring me this state of being where I could finally feel like I've done it. I'm peaceful. I feel loved. And again, I was operating from the outside in. I thought if I do all these things, if I check things off my list, if I say all the things people say I should do, then I'll feel that, right? Then I'll feel peaceful. Then I'll feel abundant. Then I'll manifest more money or the relationship and the kids in the house. And it never worked. It just led to burnout and depression and anxious, a lot of anxiousness. Because again, the energy I was in at that time, when I didn't even realize it, was because again, I'm unconscious. I'm moving quickly. I'm not tuning into who I am. I'm not even aware, right? I'm just doing things I'm expected to do. It's outward pull constantly. I was doing it from survival, from fear, from my old programming of how I was brought up, right? Things that were handed down to me about how I should see money, see relationships, see life, see jobs. And I never created anything from within. And so, um, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of fear of falling behind, a lot of fear of letting people down. And so, even though my actions looked aligned on the outside, happens for many of us. We get the job, we make a certain amount of money, we finish school, we still feel misaligned on the inside. And my energy was so misaligned, and it led to just, again, exhaustion, burnout, and just the feeling and hopelessness of why can I experience life like those people? Why am I still suffering? What's happening? And nothing really shifted until I shifted my internal state. When I returned to resonance, when I slowed down, when I stopped performing and started healing, plus embodying it, embodying my healing, not letting healing become another thing to bypass certain fears I had. And then from there, everything opened. Once I started embodying my healing, embodying, moving in a aligned way, um, you know, things have shifted so radically and so quickly for me. And because again, embodiment is the part that's missing. I know it was for me as well. I was doing all the things I thought I was supposed to do. I even, learned how to do Reiki. I felt so much better. But the alignment, the embodied state of feeling that in my nervous system, feeling it in my body, and then moving in that aligned way, that was the piece I was missing. And that's the piece that grounds that heavenly presence and awareness here on earth, that brings it into creation. And so when you can access that here and create that from within, it's you're just watch your life change right before your eyes. So again, a reminder for you as we close, know that you are not broken. Know that all hope is not lost. We're not behind. Um, you're not out of alignment because you're a failure. You're simply being invited back into attunement, back into resonance, back into wholeness, back into your body and your eternal truth within. It's simply an invitation. That feeling of misalignment, of something is missing, of, oh, hopelessness, of, oh, why am I not where I want to be? Now I know that was all just an invitation, and it is for you. It's an invitation to return back to truth. Because alignment, again, is not something you achieve, it's something that is remembered, it is something that is felt within, it is something that is accessed, and you always have access to it. It's just returning to that state of awareness and choosing to seek that truth, right? No matter what, and not give up, right? Continue seeking that truth, continue moving towards the light, continue broadening your awareness, continue deepening into that aspect of your soul and what you know is right for you, and continue trusting that self and honoring those God given desires from your heart. When you return to your embodied yes, your entire life begins to move for you, through you. And so today, make the conscious decision and set the intention I am choosing aligned embodiment. I am choosing self trust. I am choosing wholeness. I am choosing faith over fear, love over lack. And I am choosing to move from this frequency of wholeness, of heaven, of love, of radical self acceptance in all areas of my life. And then watch your life change. Hopefully, this helped you today. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Until next video.